Hey, good morning. All right. Part one of a 3-part mini-series, 12-gauge suppressors. That's right. Kind of want to title it, Why They Suck. Because literally they are the worst suppressible firearm on the market that I can think of. I can't think of anything else. And I'm not talking about like tanks and mortars and stuff like that. Like actual, small arms. So we're going to be shooting the Mossberg 500. This is my most used firearm, the one I use the most, the one I built the suppressor pretty much for. We are going to be testing it out in this configuration, which is 24-inch barrel. I do have an 18.5-inch barrel. I do have a 28-inch barrel, but this is the most used option for me. It seems to fit the bill, especially hunting out here. The big longer barrel with a 12-inch can on it not just looks stupid, but feels stupid and doesn't really get me much more suppression. And we'll talk about that in a later video. But we do have this guy filled with number 8 shot, 1 ounce, 1,300 feet a second federal game loads. So something that I would normally use when out hunting. So we're going to get a trial run to see what this guy does unsuppressed, which is probably going to get 161.5 to 162.5, depending. Most supersonic bird shots are going to be around that range with this barrel. 18.5-inch. Same bird shot loads, you can add about 2 decibels. 28-inch barrel, you're going to subtract a little bit from what this does at 161, 162. It's going to be closer to 160. So a little bit better suppression with the long barrel. But I want to show you guys what this guy does primarily with my big giant can. So let's put some across the meter first. 160 scale, super loud, super obnoxious. 162.5. All right. 161.5. Okay, one more for good measure. It's like 161.6. 161.6. Okay. So leave this guy unchambered. Let me go get the beast. Look at this thing. So this guy is offset. This is my Form 1. I did build this guy, and it literally costs, with the old school mount that is not available anymore, we're talking like 90 bucks for materials and all that stuff to put this guy together. It does help to have a lathe, but for the most part, this guy is sandwiched together by 2 rods. And yes, I do need to trim those outer rods a little bit. I just never have, but they stick out a little bit further. But I did make this guy and shim it to where this guy twists on this gun and it ends up being below the bore line, which is, what I wanted. I didn't want a 3-inch can that stuck above the bore line, even if I do have a micro red dot like this Steiner. So this guy sits just nicely right below the bore line a little bit. It's still above it. You could shoot through the can. But for the most part, I like it. So real quick before I shoot, I'm gonna add some more ammo to this guy. When you look at this thing, look at this thing. When you look at it, check it out. Pretty dumb looking, right? Okay, so this guy is a early 70s Pinot with a 302 and 150 shot of nitrous. What does that even mean? Okay, so what it means to me is when you look at this thing, you look at it and you're like, I don't know if it's cool. I don't know if it looks stupid. Does it work? It looks like ridiculous, and then you get it put in your hand and you're like, I'm like, all right, this actually feels pretty good. I kind of think I want to shoot it. And then you shoot it and you're like, whoa, actually sounds okay. It's just a little heavy and it's maybe not for me. So that's what I'm going to get across in the next couple of videos. But 73 Pinot thing. Know a guy, Ron, big Ron, 6'6". I think it's a 71 Pinot, has a mildly built 302 in it, 150 shot of nitrous on this thing. So real clean looking car. When that thing would come out and you'd look at it and you'd be like, it looks clean, but it's not my style of hot rod. It's just not. But he says, you want to hop in? We'll go for a pass. You go for a pass, hits the juice. Thing does mid-11s at the track, around sea level. So around 600 feet above sea level. It was like 1150s, 1160s. So this thing scooted really good. So when you're in the car, it was pretty sweet. It was awesome. But then when you see the car, you're like, ooh, yeah, right on, man. You know, you don't know how to think about it. It's cool, but it's maybe not for you. So that's what I think of the shotgun suppressor. I think it's my 71 Pinto with nitrous and a small block V8 in it. So that's kind of where this thing sits for me. Some people out there might think like Ron. Cool, Ron. Love the guy. It is a cool car to a point, and some people love it, some people don't. But that's for you to decide. So for the most part, I'm going to be putting some more rounds down range in this guy in the 140 scale. We're going to see a drop. So, and all the numbers will be tallied in the description so you can get an accurate decibel reduction and averages in the video. But okay, same loads here. We are going to put a couple cross here. And in the later video, we are going to go in the breakdown of this can. So I will talk about it and what failed, what worked, what I think worked. So many more things to talk about. Let's take a couple shots here. $143.1. 143.1. Okay. $144.1. All right. You're like, God, it's loud. 143.2. Yes, it is still loud. And you will notice that the camera is so freaking close to where I'm shooting. So it might not sound that quiet like other videos online of people doing suppressed shotguns like manufacturers, because they might set up the camera and zoom in to a further away shooting target. So it's like, oh yeah, it sounds a little bit more pleasant. That's 143 decibels right there. That's loud. I have an open terrain, okay? There's not really a lot of sound coming back like if I was standing next against a wall or an indoor range. So yeah, 143.3. Let's do another couple for a good average. Actually sounds really good. 142.2. Oh, let's get another one in this guy. Okay. All this volume really helps. Again, talk about that in a later video. Size matters. Ooh, a little louder. 144.4. It doesn't sound bad for me. Probably sounds louder than like ever on that video. It's not that bad. It's a loud boom, but it is definitely a good suppressed boom. We're going to put another one and try it at the ear. Now, since this is not a semi-auto loader, it's not going to be as crucial to which ear I'm shooting from, because there's no ejection port. So we'll do closest to the, we'll do left ear because it's easier for me to do that with, and I'll get as close as I can. 130 scale, same ammo. Oh, 138.1. Normally it's a little bit quieter, but that's usually on the high side at the ear. So 136 and change, 137 and a half, you know, sometimes 138. So it is hearing safe by a little bit. And that's my whole point of this shotgun suppressor. It's not so I can be Anton Chigurh and pop into a hotel room and kill some cartel guys. No. Look at the size of this thing. It's massive. It's huge. So this guy has a lot of different names. Called like the Albatross, Colossus, the Beast, BBC, the Mailbox, all kinds of things. So yeah. Yeah, 32.0 ounces, the way it sits right now, with no baffles except for the center perforated tube. But again, more on the second video. You got to watch this. Too much to talk about. Now I want to show you guys something. Okay, I'm going to put it back in the 140 scale and put another round in. And I'm going to show you guys something because we're out here shooting. Same thing. Okay, now, okay, stay right there, buddy. Okay, don't move. Okay, when manufacturers test stuff, okay, they might not have this exact meter. They might have something a little newer, like a Larsen Davis. They might have a newer BK system, a pulse system. I don't know what Jay at Pew Science uses. I have no idea. I think I've tried to research it and I can't find it. It's probably out there. Maybe he said it in one of his hour-long podcasts. I don't know. I don't really follow Jay's stuff. because he does Form 4 commercial stuff that's available pre-made by a commercial, you know, manufacturer. I'm making most of my own stuff except for my several commercial stuff, but I like making more than buying stuff. That's just the way I've always been. So this guy, when metering, you're typically looking at about 63 inches up, 1.6 meters up, and then 1 meter across, or about 39 inches across. So this guy, I don't know if you guys can zoom in or see it. I don't edit or anything, but this is 38 3/4 of an inch to the center. So it's roughly that much closer. So what I'm going to do for you guys is, okay, I try to keep this as standard as possible so I have repeatable results, so I know that it's as accurate as I can be. Not just for you, but for me, because I like tallying stuff and make sure I have accurate data. So, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this roughly 6 inches further away, because if a company's metering something in front of you, they're not going to measure and show you how close it is to like a standard. So hopefully you can see that, 38 3/4 of an inch, 39 inches. I'm going to move it 6 inches further, and we're going to see how much louder it is. So about 6 inches. This is 6 inches for me, but we're going to do the normal 6. Okay. So can was pretty empty, probably most as gases, because I was talking so much. 142.6. Now that's pretty good. That is normally the best shot I will ever see after the can's completely filled. You see that guy smoking right there. I have definitely seen around 140. So just by playing around and not letting you know, okay, that I'm accurately meeting this, I can make something quieter than it is. And also placing the camera further away and zooming in can give you a different tone. So I just want to point that out to you guys. Again, a lot more of that and more talking in another video. But how come I'm not doing subs? I can do a sub for you. I don't mind. I don't really care to, and I don't think you're going to care, because you're going to be disappointed, because the only subs that I have right now are the Winchester, the 980 feet a second. It's like 7/8 of an ounce load. It's a real anemic load. I mean, if you had to kill something short range, you know, a bunny, a skunk, you know, a bird up close, it's probably going to work, but it doesn't have a lot of horsepower coming at that thing. So the tone's better. It has less recoil with the bird shot, but it's absolutely worthless to me. I see like a decibel difference maybe sometimes at the ear or at the muzzle. It's just not worth my time. The Detroit Ammo slugs and double-aught buck that I've tested, I do get a little bit better. I think I have seen like 141 decibels with the double-aught, which is great. So that's like a 20 decibel reduction. So not bad for a turd like this, but yeah, I just want to show you guys kind of what mine does, which is somewhere around maybe 16 decibels on a bad day, 17, a little more than 17 on a good day with subs, 18 to 19. So you know, it is what it is. It's going to be loud. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. I didn't build this, like I said, to be Anton Sugar. I built it so I can comfortably go out here and hunt and not really worry about hearing detection if I'm out in the field, if I didn't want to bring anything or didn't have anything, or if my wife and daughter are out wandering around and we're out hiking and we're out doing stuff and I'm hunting and, you know, we're out camping and stuff. So I want this to be a little bit more pleasant for them. Even though when you have no can on a shotgun and you're 20, 30 feet away, you do dip into the hearing safe range. So therefore, you know, they're not going to be always that close to me hunting, but I do want to make sure that it's still a little bit more pleasant all around. And to scare away game as well, the suppressor comes in handy. I don't have a hunting dog, but that is also a good reason to have a can. Now, more on the specifics and breakdown and manufacturers in a later video, because I have so much to talk about. So thanks for watching this 15-minute long video on my 3-part series. And if you have any comments about this, I would save them for a later video for a lot more discussion on the suppressor. But for the most part, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Talk to you guys later.